Hello and welcome to another episode of the Point to Rise podcast. My name is Susanne and I am your host today. I am right now sitting on a rooftop overlooking Berlin, watching the sunset. And I thought I'm just going to keep this tradition up for a little bit while I'm still traveling. And I'm recording for you with this kind of a view. So let me tell you about my biggest takeaway of the week that I spent here in Berlin. And that one is, it's not just about setting boundaries, but it is that our family is who raised us. Our family is who we love dearly. And sometimes our family is also a circle of people that we have to set very, very clear boundaries around. And for me, that boundary was very clearly set over the past 3 days where I was encountered to energy that is not in my vibrational circle anymore. And I found myself pleasing everybody with showing up, being there, and finding myself, even after just 30 minutes, having to actually get up and walk out and go on a walk and have a really good conversation and discovery with myself about this is not who I am anymore, nor do I want to be that person anymore. Yet I love them dearly, but I need to actually step away from them and from their energy, from their mindset, from their beliefs, because they do not align with what I believe anymore. And the more and more I shared with them who I was and what I believed in and asked different questions, the bigger the friction actually became, not in a, how do you say that, in a confrontational way, but I found myself getting very restless, very weak actually, that I wanted to do things like eating crap, or I didn't want to work out, or I didn't want to do things that are good for me. And I felt myself getting sucked into this hurricane of negative energy, of talking about problems all the time, saying this is the way it is, settling without finding any kind of solutions. Um, I think I also discovered why I actually left Germany, and that was because it seemed that the mindset over here was very much black and white. And I don't want to say that that's necessarily a bad thing. There are very many great things about black and white, only that black and white doesn't fit me anymore. I am looking for the gray. I am looking for solutions every possible second, and I am looking for choices and not what I believe society or an industry or other people are asking me to be, or what kind of a box I should be fitting into. So therefore, I had a really, really hard time. It is really, I found it also very challenging to watch your dear, close family that you haven't really spent much time with, believing in all of these limiting beliefs and also fighting for them with tooth and nail over and over and over again, just to stay the way they knew, and saying that they can't change. Other people have to do that for them. And I found myself getting not upset about it, but it took so much energy out of me that I actually not only had to step away, but I had to physically remove myself. So, what's the lesson here? So, for me, the lesson is that I have to, regardless on how much I do care and love them, I can only change myself and how I behave and how I react and how I choose to show up. I cannot change where they're at. Neither will I try anymore to put out any kind of suggestions, hoping that they will take a nugget here or there and understand where I'm coming from and where I'm at. And that's really hard. That really, really hurt because, well, as I said, I love them with my heart. They're my family. Some of them actually raised me, and yet we have become such different people with such different beliefs that it just doesn't align anymore. And I find that painful in the beginning. And when I had a few hours now to actually calm down and understand what's happening and look at it from the outside in and not react anymore. And I'm not 100% sure yet what the solution is. Just removing myself, I don't think that's the answer. For me, the answer right now is loving them from afar, not having or investing heavily time into conversations and physical energy exchange, but, watching and loving them from afar. And I would say if you find yourself in these circumstances where when you having conversations and these conversations are about problems all the time and pointing out the things that are not working well without having any solutions, I mean, if that's where you're at and that's not where you want to be, then you need to start either removing yourself or spending less time with that and choosing what you're taking in, what kind of propaganda you're listening to very, very wisely, because that's where it starts. The people that you surround yourself with are one of the most important things that you can decide and choose, and that will help you to level up or be drawn down. So let's compare that to a Bali company or your circle of friends or whatever that is. If you feel like you have to settle in order to fit in, then you're not going to live your most powerful life. You need to give yourself the chance to discover what you're made out of. You need to understand who you are before you can perhaps help others or make the decision to move away or move towards people that you want to learn from or be inspired by. So that was hard. That was really, really hard. And as I said to my friend this afternoon, I am grateful for the lesson because honestly, you guys, I've spoken to my kids like that. I had conversations like this over and over and over again with friends and family where we just pointed fingers at everybody else for what was not working in our life. And I just don't want to live that way anymore. And if you're listening to this podcast, I think you also have that feeling, that nudge, that tugging on your soul that you want some kind of change. And sometimes we just don't even know what that change looks like. And that's okay. Sometimes that change starts with, not taking your phone in your hands and looking at everybody else on Instagram. Sometimes that change starts taking care of yourself and your needs first when you get up versus pleasing everybody else. Sometimes that change starts with listening to different podcasts that inspire different perspectives in you and light a spark in you again, where you don't settle for what you think you can get, but when you go out and get what you want. And while I'm looking at the sun going down right here over the roofs here in Berlin, I'm sending you so much love, and I hope that you find that tiny little spark, that tiny little nudge in yourself that moves you forward, that won't let you settle, that lets you take on different perspectives and other beliefs that will push you forward, because you don't have to settle. Never ever settle. I'm sending you so much love, and Till next time.
Thank you so much for listening. If this message resonates with you, please pass it on to someone who needs to hear this right now. And if you like what you've heard, your feedback will go a very long way. If you just take 30 seconds and leave me a 5-star review, that would mean the world to me. Till next time, point at yourself to rise to all that you are capable of.